Hey, and welcome to the battle at Fort Callisto. Finally, we are here. We'll see if there's going to be more episodes after this. We're not sure. But after all the romance and smooching last time, this show is going to be something different. We also have with us, as you may have noticed, a new player here, Tom, to fill out our lore keeper. So if we survive, we might hear some tales about what's going on afterwards as well again. So we shout out to previous lore master Paul. We'll miss you very much, but we're happy that we gotten some new recruits here who can not die on the first. It just didn't come in just because of the battle to be battle fodder, hopefully, but we'll see. Tom, I can't promise anything. Before we get started, we'll just go around our table and introduce ourselves. I am Mikael. My pronouns are they, them. This is my channel. And I am very excited to finally. Actually, it's been a while since we had some very just completely assault-ish mission. There's no way to get around this one, so it's going to be interesting to see if we still remember how to do big wildland stuff against the undead. You want to go next, Tom?
Sure. Yeah, my name's I'm Tom. Hi. Pronouns are he and him. Looking forward to play. I've played with Mikael before. Not with Band of Blades, but I'm ready to learn, and hopefully we can have some good times.
Good times and bad times alike. Also a good opportunity for any new viewers to get some more information about mechanics, since I'll be doing some more explaining about things now that we have a new player who hasn't played this before. Jim, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I want to point out that mechanics discussions are not necessarily just for the benefit of new players. Those of us who are still wrapping our heads around Forged in the Dark, it's very helpful every game when we lay it back out and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that. Tom, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. Well, I'm glad to have you here. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm very glad that you've joined us. Thank you for stepping up on short notice. It's we are going to need everybody that we can get today from the looks of things. So I'm Jim Crocker. Folks that know me from outside of these broadcasts may know me because I run and play a whole lot of games online, a lot of stuff through the Gauntlet RPG community, and I'm a retailer of role-playing games and have been for many years. I sell them at conventions all up and down the East Coast and the Midwest, Origins, Gen Con, stuff like that, with my partners from Indie Press Revolution, small press and individually published role-playing and story games, and Goodman Games, who do a bunch of cool OSR, dungeon crawl, classic stuff. You can find me online at Jim Likes Games, and I've got a website, jimlikesgames.com, where I talk about stuff, including like these games that I'm playing right now. I've got a little podcast where I do recaps, and I think I have not done Band of Blades yet, but I suspect either way, I will want to talk about today's game. So, whichever way our fates end up, but I'm really looking forward to it. So that's me.
Yeah, you want to go next, Joel?
Yeah. Today I'm joined by some puppies that you might hear like that in the background. I'm Joel Van Dyne. My pronouns are she and her. This is the only thing I've got streaming right now. I don't know. About it. I'm happy to be a new lore keeper in the mix. I'll toss it over to Matthias so I can see what's going on with these puppies.
Hi, I'm Matthias. I use he and pronouns, and I think, well, as I'm playing the Marshal, I'm ready to put all our eggs in one basket of hurt for the undead today. That's my plan.
Well, on that bombshell, we left off was the Legion going towards Fort Callisto. So I'm just gonna set the scene a little bit, how this looks. For our viewers, we also clocked another season in the commander sheet last time. That means that our Broken has a new ability, and of course, I had to choose an appropriate one. I think it would be good to share. It's that Render, who is the Broken one, who is fortifying Fort Callisto at the moment. Blighter is running behind through the forest, still catching up. Has gotten the ability Massacre. Render's savage tactics and defying use of the dead instills fear in all soldiers. Assault mission engagement rolls take -1 die. So I think as we see like the camera, maybe like I imagine it's being like going towards Fort Callisto and over like the Legion, who's still a little bit back from the siege. You see like these. I think you see just there's like these kind of poles where all like dead people from the forces who've been trying to get through, or people who they got fallen off the battlements or anything like that, have been strung up on. And I think like this is pretty new because usually they would use dead corpses to make them undead, make them another soldier in the undead force. But it seems like there has been, and I think it's just pretty much like all the bodies who are too mutilated to done that. They started using them to like hang them up to scare the soldiers, and you can imagine like it's an army of the undead. So it's not like the requirements for like the function of the bodies is like that high, and when they are too bad to use for that, you can imagine that they are probably not looking. They're probably not a very nice sight. And as you come up, you walk through this like barren land. There's no trees, no grass. It's just like, and it's also probably raining. I imagine it being like pretty like muddy. Just it's been army and battles here, and there's like just like these poles with soldiers from mostly from Aldermark probably, but also from different places, just like bodies strung up. On some places there you can see like the innards are out, and there's heads that are cut off, or even just like the heads on the top of the pole or anything and stuff like that. And they're starting to rot, and you see and there's like this, I think there's this even now that there is it's raining, there's like this smell here that's very like it makes you want to, and I think probably also it has happened already that someone has puked because of it, and you're going into a battle, right? So this is not you can probably like feel the mood being a bit some soldiers starting to be, at least Brooke is becoming a bit weary. So that's the scene as you're walking up here. Also for our viewers, we'll only have a primary mission today, and that is to get into Fort Callisto, because between Fort Callisto and Legion there is Render's army, and you have to break the siege. The best way to do that is to hit the undead in a position and force them to shift forces to defend, while the Legion makes a break out of the force and into the side gate. So whatever the undead are preparing for the walls, Ritual Law Siege Engine looks like a good target. And that's what you're gonna do. The ones who are chosen now to go on this mission, they will not have a fun time ahead. They'll be up against like in theory, hopefully, if they succeed, they will be up against the whole army of Render, so that the rest of the Legion can come can get into the fort. So, Marshall, who is chosen for this mission?
Well, so let me pull up my sheet here. So here's the thing, because we need to hit them and hit them hard, I think this needs to be a cavalry charge that tries to hit them where they've got something to lose, so they pull forces away, and only like when that starts happening is when the rest of the legion tries to make that run, right? So our only squad that's at full size to do something like that are the Ember Wolves. So they're going. Quartermaster will need horses, naturally.
Violet actually requires horses even. Good news though, if you have an alchemist, which we do, the engagement roll is +1. We're gonna try to burn the siege engines.
Okay.
We're bringing the moose, right?
Yes, Violet.
Violet's in that squad, isn't she?
Yeah. That's also why it needs to be them, right?
Excellent.
Because she's the only one who can ride the war moose.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of options here. So she's definitely a potential playable character. I'm also sending. So as the two regular specialists, just for the mission, I'm sending Valentina and the cadre. But the Kingfisher and Emilio are also going because they both have attaché, so I can just add them to anything.
All the eggs.
So we've got 2 heavies on this mission. We've got our sniper with his crimson shot, should we need it. And we've got Emilio ready to maybe save someone, but probably more to do his nickname of Dr. Boom.
Because we've got our blackshot grenades too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the question: they are all going, but they don't all need to be played by players, right? So it's a little bit of a question. I would put it like, do any of you have preferences?
I like playing Val, so. Yeah,
that's what I thought, and I was thinking, I don't know, Jim, do you want to play the cadre again, or would you rather...
I'm kind of cadre forever, so
yeah. I agree. So here, I'm also picking this option to give Tom a little bit of a choice, in a sense. So what I'm thinking is you could either play Violet Charging Tide, who's a soldier, riding the war moose. If that sounds interesting to you, then I guess you'll be at the head of the charge in some shape or manner, right? You might even be in command in that sense, right? Or you could play the Kingfisher, who's basically an old veteran who's seen too much, who's cool to play because yeah, like he's too old for this shit, but he's got really good stats, so you'll be good in fighting no matter what path you want to go down in that, I think. Pretty straightforward to play. Or if you want to be like a little bit more Doctor Strange, I guess Emilio. What do you feel like? Do you have a preference, or do you just want me to assign you someone?
A lot of choices. Actually,
basically, one is a heavy, one is an assault type. I'm just gonna name Violet that, and one is more like a support.
I will go as Dr. Boom then, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you should find Emilio down with the specialists.
Yeah, got him. Does he have full stress? Am I reading that right?
That's yes. I'm just seeing that now too. Yeah, so if he gets one more stress, he gets a trauma, but
okay.
You'll be out for a moment then, but you're not out for the entire session or not even for the entire mission. So you should feel could still be fine. If you want something more straightforward, I guess the Kingfisher is a good idea.
Okay, just for that, I will probably go Kingfisher.
Yeah.
So if our goal is to destroy siege engines, would the fine wrecking kit be a good idea to take with a heavy load?
Yeah, we can talk about load in a minute here. The question is if we want to stay a little bit maneuverable, I guess, because we want to get out alive again, right? You can all choose what you feel makes more sense for your character, but taking a tower shield onto a horse sounds like not that.
Good point.
Because you get both of those things.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I gotta pick. So I think I'll play. It's actually a hard choice. Let me play Emilio, because then we've got the other bases covered. We've got enough fighty stuff. I mean, they're both still there, right? Yeah. Unless someone thinks I should a player character should be sitting on the, like a player should be using the war moose here. So like a preference GM wise.
I'd also say that no, for me no. But Dr. Boom needs to. I mean, if someone needs to light up some siege engines, that's also.
Yeah.
Dr. Boom seems up to the task.
The war moose may be big and strong enough that it could actually do actual damage to one just by getting up to full speed and putting its head down.
That's true.
I don't know why we can't just say, and the war, like when we do our group actions or describe our plans, we can just say what we want the moose to do, and it can be, you can have it give us potency or whatever, or just it fictionally makes something possible that wasn't before. I'm totally fine with that without necessarily having a PC writing it.
Yeah, we're bringing it. So we're putting it at risk through the mission, anyways, right?
Basically, yeah. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, let me play Emilio. That's fine. So we get a little bit of different flavor into this too. Cool. I guess engagement roll? Or first load, I guess.
Load and intel questions.
Yeah, load and intel questions and then engagement roll. I really think taking heavy load might be bad on a horse. I don't know how you think.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So normal, we're heading into battle.
Yeah.
It could be different for different characters, and there might even be special abilities, but I don't think any of these characters have any of those where you can pretend to be something lighter in any way.
So I just roll that.
Gonna be on horses the whole time?
I mean, probably not. If we only roll sixes, then yes.
Yeah, I foresee consequences of people falling off their horses.
What I imagine as the marshal is basically maybe at daybreak, right? Maybe not at daybreak. Maybe when the sun stands low in the west, we come out of the forest.
We want the sun at our
exactly.
Our back.
So we're seen at the last possible moment, and even if like warning yells ring out, they don't know how many are hitting them. And we're aiming for like a very like central war machine that they've got, and the goal is to buy enough time for the rest of the Legion to steal in the twilight of dusk towards the city, where they relieve, right? And maybe like yes, let's destroy the war machine, but if we don't, that's not the end of the world.
So there's just one big siege engine is basically what it is. Well, like what is it? Is it a trebuchet? Is it a great big tower that they're trying to wheel up against the walls, or what?
That's a good question. What do you think is most interesting?
I think there's probably multiple, but there's one big one that's like the centerpiece one. That's what I was imagining.
Did you say it was render or?
Yeah.
Render. So it's just this huge, gnarly metal-looking thing.
Speaking of,
like it's something that like it's an orc thing basically. I imagine like a 40K orc, like big hunks of rusted metal and wood and stuff. Like I kind of like it's a tower.
Yeah, it's
that they're just pushing forward to try and and once it makes contact with the side of the fort and they can just swarm up the side and just go over the sides.
Yeah,
and maybe they've got some smaller ballistae and stuff to keep people's heads down. But I think that
yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely imagining like this weird contraption of it's a tower, but it's also got some other war machines on it, right? So it can actually shoot heavy bolts onto the battlements and like a multi-purpose thing that's
yeah
just being pushed up by a bunch of undead, and when one goes down, another one just immediately takes its place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like that.
Okay, yeah, cool. Also, speaking of which, I made a clock here that is the Hormone stalling render. It's an 8 clock, and when The clock is filled up. Render is loose.
Yay.
Threat 5 XP. Cool. You have any intel questions, Commander?
I don't think we have any intel, but hang on a sec. Let me make sure. Let me pop my.
Then you just have the 0.
Pop the commander open here. We've got 0 pressure and 0 intel. All right. Where are the intel? Do we have the intel questions in Roll20?
No. That might be something we should have learned to do, but
yeah, they're not in that rule handout. So give me just a sec. I'll pop open my PDF of the rules here. Sorry for not having that ready to go.
It also always catches me by surprise somehow.
Page 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Here we go. If you hold 0 more intel, ask the following questions. Well, we know what the highest threat we can expect is. We know how much travel there is. I guess what would be a useful item to bring with that we haven't thought of? I mean, should we be bringing reliquaries? Because we're not, like, I don't know.
I think I think actually no, that's not
okay.
what you need. All the weapon and armors you can get. That's what you need.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, there's no.
So, what do we need to do to equip everybody with Blackshot?
You need the Blackshot from. No, you just need to cross it on your utility.
Oh, okay. It's not. There's not like a quartermaster thing or something like that. It's just it's the quartermaster is whether we have it or not to use, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mark off the grenades on my sheet, but on your sheet it's just Blackshot.
Cool. Okay, great.
So is that in addition to our 2 utility we get normally? If the quartermaster chooses to spend on it, we just get it.
Yeah. If it's on the if it's like one of those things that you need for that kind of mission, but I don't. But Blackshot's grenades is actually a good answer when I think about it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean, and
there's going to be a lot of crowded places.
Yeah,
We're getting
I have no
things confused here, though. There's Blackshot and there's Blackshot grenades.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the quartermaster has to mark off for us to use the grenades, but we can just bring, like, any of us that want to can just bring Blackshot whenever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
When it says fine hand weapon on the load, is that just a sword, or could that be a gun as well?
Yeah, whatever hand weapon you want it to be.
All right. Okay.
So it's a one-handed weapon. If you
mechanically, the only thing that matters is that it's fine, which makes it better at getting effect against things that are, dangerous. I'll explain once that's relevant.
So you're going into battle with like a hand weapon, a heavy weapon already, and if you wanted another, like a third weapon, you could pick that.
Right, I've picked a wrecking kit and a shield.
That sounds useful.
What load are you? Heavy?
Normal. I'm normal.
Normal, yeah. What about the rest of your loads?
Normal.
Well?
Yeah, I did normal for the force.
So here's the thing. I believe to take the grenades, we actually need to choose that under utility.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write in black shot grenades.
For Dr. Boom.
Yeah. Here's the question. I guess any custom item is always two things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Then we all have our loads. I think that's the first time we like actually did that without
Properly.
me. Not from, yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, episode 9. Cool. Then it's the engagement rule.
All right. So, Legion loyalty. Are all on the mission oaths sworn to the Legion? I believe so, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Is the alchemist?
No.
I,
On the mission.
I thought they all had to be legionnaires for that to count. I could just be talking wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah, but you're not. Oh yeah, no, you're not. Dr. Boom is not. He's a legionnaire.
Okay.
Like
I'm a medic
Yeah.
specialist.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were like one of those.
No.
Like attach it. Okay, cool.
So we're all oaths sworn to the Legion. It's one die. Did the commander spend intel? Nah, we didn't have any intel. Is everyone in the mission a specialist or soldier? No. Like we still have.
Who's we've got some Ember. Okay, wolves who are still rookies. Okay, yeah.
Does any legionnaire distrust the leadership or not fear them enough to obey orders on the battlefield?
Not yet.
So yeah, no.
Are required specialists or equipment not on the mission?
Everything is okay there.
Assault mission. Did the quartermaster equip the soldiers with black shot?
Yes. Grenades.
Is any legionnaire starting the mission wounded? No, we took care of that last time. So it's 2 dice, and then we get a penalty, right? Because
you also get a plus, so it knows each other because you have alchemists.
Oh,
which gives you a plus die, and then render gives you a -1. So for this one, it's just 2 then.
Okay.
Soldier might be pissing their pants, but you have some black shot grenades.
Yeah, great. Okay, so 2 dice. That sounds good. It's okay. It's a 5.
Could have been worse. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a risky position. So how I read your approach here is just riding in, charging in towards the siege engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think specifically from the sound of it, towards that like massive zombies that are pushing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that stops it moving, and then we can start messing with it.
Yeah, I think I know how this looks. So basically, the riskiness here is that there is a lot of troops here. You are riding through a bunch of soldiers who are ready for you. You still have them at an advantage since you're riding. but they are not line troops. There are a lot of elites here. You see some. I think you actually you see that there's a crew of. You see that the Black Oak Knights are kind of stationed around the siege engine guarding it.
I hate those guys. I hate them so much.
And meanwhile, I think you also see the horn one charging through some of the a little bit further on. Some of the some hordes of gaunts and engaging in battle with Render, who was coming towards your charge. Yes, so you're. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I would suggest here is if we're all charging in, that this is a probably of most of us it's a team action maneuver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it is. I'm making a clock for getting to the war machine. I think here.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Have you played with clocks before, Tom?
I'm aware of the theory.
Yeah.
So
you mark it or tick it off as we get closer, and when it's full, it realizes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tiny little clock.
We for filling clocks,
there we go.
if you hit a 6, you get 3 ticks on it. No, that's wrong. For standard effect, you get 2 ticks on it. For great effect, you get 3 ticks on it. And if you only get limited effect, you get only 1 tick. So we would need to hit great effect twice, and then we'd get there. So it's a bit of a challenge already. But I don't think we have this is the first charge to get stuck in there.
Yeah, and you still have momentum at your side because you're coming in fast.
Yeah.
That's why it's. But they are definitely more than you here. I imagine. I mean, you're. How many are you even? It's probably almost 10 people actually on horses, because it's also the full squad.
Yeah.
And I think probably they're maybe it's almost it's half of the whole Black Oak Knight. It's 20 soldiers and an officer, a lieutenant,
and a war moose.
And a war moose. Yeah, I'm imagining the war moose is in front, charging in with the horns lowered.
Yeah.
But yes, they are on foot.
Those aren't those are not horns, bro. Those are antlers. They're clearing a path for us.
Yeah, antlers it is.
So what's our position and effect here?
Well, you're doing it as a group, right?
Yeah, I think everybody needs to it's like when the whole group tries to sneak across the courtyard. This is the whole group trying to make a charge happen.
Just thundering forward, yeah.
I think it is. I think actually the war moose does have an effect here, giving you a standard effect, being able to clear out more than the one rider on its back would implicate.
Yeah.
So standard effect, risky position.
Do we just we need to nominate who's the one leading the charge here?
I have 2 in maneuver, and I guess it would make sense for Val to be leading. I think.
Yeah, and no stress marked yet, right?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's a maneuver group action.
So yeah. So let's click on maneuver.
Okay.
Do you want to push? No, do you want to change position for effect? Do you want to try to do a longer distance at more risk?
Yeah,
basically.
higher speed charge where we might lose.
The line might spread out
Yeah.
if that happens. Yeah.
What do you guys think? I have an extra die for group actions because I'm loyal.
Come again.
I'm hopefully I would have a pretty good chance because I have 2 in maneuver, and then I get an extra for a group action.
So
One of my reality traits.
yeah, also Tom, how group actions work is that everyone has to roll, and the one who's leading the action takes stress every time someone fails.
Right.
But then also every success counts towards succeeding. So you just need 1 6 among all of you to succeed.
Right.
So basically, it's pretty low risk for succeeding, but could be a high stress cost because you're
And do we do our 6s count together towards crits, or is that a no?
No,
Okay.
that needs a special ability.
Oh, okay. I remember reading that somewhere, but it was
That exists and it's really
an
good.
ability. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was an ability.
Officer ability.
Okay. Yeah.
So do I just click the maneuver diamond in the character sheet?
We'll go
Not the
one by
diamond. You click the word.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Right. Do you want me to do that now, or should we?
Are we doing risky or desperate?
Well, we got to make sure we know what we're all set up with.
I would say I wouldn't try for it yet. I don't know. That's the start of it. You want to go desperate already?
I thought you would though.
What happened? You're such a turtler, Matthias.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's get in there. It's a good chance we get a 6 on one of the rolls. Yeah. So we. Well, I mean, who wants to describe that? How that looks like? Who's making that happen? Because it's probably not Emilio who's like pushing the whole attack into desperate position.
Are we?
On a player level, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
I don't know. What do the rest of you guys think? I thought it kind of was.
Let's do it. I would say. Right.
I think it's your call, Joel, because you're leading the action.
That's true.
You're leading from the front.
We need someone to blame afterwards, Joel.
Don't do that. That's not nice.
No. Like I'm all for.
So I guess the other question I have is if we do this as desperate, does that mean all of us then mark XP, or is it just Val that is as the leader who's
Everyone.
Yeah.
But everyone risks getting caught out. Like
yes.
yeah, because of the I would prefer. I also would prefer not to do it this early on. We got to get there. Like once we get there, then it's the time for desperate action. That's what I feel.
It's true, right? Because that could mean a like level 3 harm for everyone, or something like that.
And for bonus die, is anybody like helping or?
No, we're
You
all
can't.
doing the group action.
Yeah.
You can ask for a devil's bargain or push yourself. I'm going to push myself into trauma. I'm like gonna be out of the scene right away. Get me to the thing, and then I can do stuff.
Well, good. I'm just definitely gonna ask what that looks like. Yeah. Cool. I don't. Yeah, good. Well.
Okay,
Well,
we're committed.
so do we? Okay, so
Yeah, we rolled. So it's standard,
risky.
risky, standard risky.
I roll that right? Yep, D6.
Dr. Boom, nice.
Oh, I just rolled a D6. Is that right?
Yeah, but you also fail, so that's a stress for
Cool. Right.
well. You can note the stress well.
So the way the rolls work is on a typical roll, it's only the highest die counts. So you're looking for the highest die. 6s, you get what you want. 4 to 5 is you still succeed, but it has some consequences.
The cadre stays on his horse.
In this case, basically, it's a team action, though. So basically, we pooled all our dice, and only one person needed to roll a 6 for the entire maneuver to succeed. If so, those of us who rolled a 1, 2, 3, though, cause stress for the one leading the action. So fictionally, it would be like, okay, that the leader does something to like mitigate your bad roll, which causes them stress, right? So that would be the question here. What does what we rolled now look like, basically?
Yeah, and I imagine probably this is like charging in front and you getting some slack behind.
So, can we ask Val what it looks like?
I think that it's probably mostly just that Emilio doesn't really know, like, he probably doesn't know how to ride a horse as well as the rest of us.
Wait, I rolled a 6.
Right.
Sorry, I was thinking I was back.
Old man Kingfisher.
Kingfisher. Well, in that case, maybe his horse is just having a little trouble.
Now I wish you would have taken like heavy load, because that would explain the horse groaning under the Kingfisher.
Kingfisher by himself, I think, is probably kind of a heavy load.
Yeah, I think what I want you to do is like we'll go around the table and you'll describe what your charging looks like, and also what your character looks like on the horse, so we can see that too. You wanna start? What does it look like when you're leading this action, and what does look like at this moment?
I think she was probably like one of her like nicknames, like maybe back when she was an Everwolf in the Vanguard, was like Sal the Valkyrie or something like that. And that's like basically what she looks like. She's just like at the front, and she has like a big axe and is just like golf swinging it like off the side and knocking people that the moose doesn't catch. And probably infrequently trying to like remind the Kingfisher that he's like in a squat now, and he has to like she's probably like, come back in. Like he's maybe not used to. He's a kind of a loner.
How does the Kingfisher respond to that? Yeah, you're not probably used to riding in a squad like this.
No, he's a veteran foot soldier, not so much a cavalier. So he sort of, I suppose, although brave on the outside, he's quite skittish around horses. And as such, the horse can sort of sense that, and it's kind of a feedback loop. That makes sense.
Cool.
I bet normally, like during normal war times, that usually functions like as a benefit, because it's a crazy sight to see the Kingfisher go charging at you in that panicked feedback loop, right? Yeah. It's a wild sight, but these are undead, so it doesn't have its usual impact.
Yeah, I also picture him riding some kind of like borderline like draft horse, like just like, you know, like
it's as big and ill-tempered as him.
Yes, yeah, it's used to pulling things, not being forced to go fast. Yeah.
Awesome. What about the cadre? Also not used to charging in on horseback. Still doing fine though.
The cadre's fine on horseback. The cadre looks like the cadre looks like he's in a western, right? He's got like a he's not wearing a helmet, he's wearing a hat. And to the extent that he's got armor, it's fine armor. It's well made, it's tight against his body, and he's got like a big duster coat over it, and shooting gloves that leave his, trigger finger free and stuff like this. And he is just, and he's doing a lot of like zigging and zagging and jumping over stuff and things like that. I think he's pretty decent. He's probably more comfortable on the horse than he would be like just running around on foot. And where necessary, if there's like an undead that rises up in front of him, like he's got a pistol that he just bam, just like puts a bullet through its face, and the horse just rolls over it, and we keep going.
Awesome. What about Emilio? You're having a little bit of a hard time, even though you're succeeding. You're muted.
Here's what happens. So Emilio is like being swept up with the charge. We're charging in, and like I imagine we're going like some kind of V shape, right? So I think there's like to the left of him, the cadre is like firing, and a little bit forward to the right of him is like the war moose, and beyond that there's like Joel and Kingfisher's like I guess taking up the flank in this in his like signature charge, let's call it that. And I'm just in the middle of it, being swept up, and then we hit the lines of the enemy, and there's like this all sound is taken away, and this is like just low booming, and like we get the cinematic horses crashing into bodies thing. And I haven't like really pulled out my weapon to fight. I've been like holding something underneath and trying to light something up, and that's what my pushing myself is. As like as our charge hit, there's like it's kind of like a fireworks thing that goes off and it goes flying like as we hit, and it explodes, like increasing the light and sound where we hit the enemy, but it's also kind of goes off in my face, so I'm like temporarily blinded, and I'm like just holding on to my horse, and they're being carried forward, I don't know into what hell. And that's how like I'm like stressing out of the scene and won't be like available for the next bits of action here. Hopefully you carrying me forward.
Just that like monotone ringing in your ears.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm definitely taking the trauma reckless here.
Of course you are. Awesome. So I imagine like the what it looks like now is that there was a few of the Black Oak Knights just like charging for you, being a bit of like I guess undisciplined and thinking that this would be no problem. So they were like charging at you with their spears, but you just like wrecked them, like go right through them, and you see like in front of you this like a big siege engine, like this tower with this ballista on top or whatever, and in front of it you see like the Black Oak Knights kind of the rest of them kind of organizing and putting up like their spears to stop you right there, and you have like a lot of speed, so like trying to be a bit more organized than their other comrades here. What do you do?
So they've formed a spear wall.
Yeah. They're rushing to try to do it at least.
So what's the story with? We filled 2 ticks there, just there.
Yeah. So you have 4 left.
Are we still doing group actions here, or what? What do we think? I think you like. Oh, and so Emilio like has passed out, right?
I'm kind of out of the scene,
Okay.
so it's a mixture of probably like going with what the fiction demands.
Yeah.
Being carried forward with the charge, but I'm like, I won't be able to help or do anything here.
Okay.
And I guess the scene ends either with us getting there or not, and then it would be probably a new scene. That's when I like might be able to help again.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you could. I imagine like options you have is like continuing charging ahead as a group, or trying to some way break their lines individually in some way.
So this is Black Oak Knights, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think actually while you think about that, I'm gonna do a little fortune roll to see how it's going with Render and the Horned One.
Okay. So like, so does that mean we don't have access to our grenades? We don't, because Emilio's got them.
You can just take them from me.
Oh, I didn't understand that. Okay, but we would have to use a utility slot to have them?
Yeah, but you could just take them from me.
Hang on. Joel, what were you saying? You're actually the quartermaster, so.
I think in the past, it's like, did the quartermaster equip you with this? They get it for free. That's how it's been on like the reliquary missions. So I think you might just have black shot grenades.
Sure, if you ticked off a whole use of it, I guess I'm fine with doing it like that.
Okay.
Whoops, we lost someone.
Sorry. He just randomly crashed.
Oh well. You're traumatized out anyway, so.
Who, me?
No, Matthias, who's re-engaging the cameras. But okay, sure. Yeah, you have the black shot grenades if you wanted to use them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll the 5 against 5 in fortune rolls here. Let's see who's succeed best. Yeah, I guess the Horned One is standing their ground. You see, yeah, you see. She is in the like a form of a huge bear, and it's like I think exactly as the camera like smash cuts from your charge. I think you see like she's like mauling Render's face with like her claw, and it hits like the big metal helmet he is on, and it like topples off, and you see Render's face with like the white skin, long blonde hair, and there's like this big burn wound in the form of a hand on his face where the Cinder King touched him, and I think you're probably and it smash cuts back to you. What do you do?
I think as the cadre, I'm going to yell, I like my horse whips around next to Val, and I say, if I nudge the door, can you kick it open, dear?
Yeah, I think Val just like raises her fist or something.
Cool. So I'm gonna kind of wheel my horse around to the side, and wherever that line of spears, it's probably actually the middle of that line of spears, because it's, oh no, are they coming from one side or what? Are they like meeting in the middle to?
Yeah, I think it's more like the meeting in the middle.
Got it. Okay, cool. So like where they are coming together in the middle and just starting to set, the cadre just wheels right around and takes one of those black shot grenades and doesn't light it, doesn't have a flint or anything like this. As he kind of, rides, like he's riding at them, like this, and then just like wheels his horse around to turn parallel and just tosses one of those, maybe even a couple of them, like in the general direction of those knights. And when they're, I don't know, a foot or two away from their faces, that pistol comes out and he shoots the grenades to cause them to, explode in midair right in front of them.
Cool. Okay, so I think that they are potent against undead, so it doesn't really have any extra effect here. But you are using a grenade in a crowded place.
I am.
Which means that they don't have scale on you, even though there are several of them. So it's, I think the way you described it, it seemed a little bit I want to say it's probably a desperate great.
Sure.
Because it seems like a bit of a risky thing, shooting a grenade.
Yeah. You know what's cool though? I have aim.
Yeah.
So
tell us what the awesome ability of aim does.
So what the ability of aim does is hang on just a sec. I had it and now I don't have it. Basically it's one of those abilities that you combine with other abilities to get extra juice out of it. So in this case, let me see. I'm trying to know exactly how it works. Aim. When you aim, you use careful timing and cool nerves to improve your shot. Aim is a specialist action for snipers. Each aim use allows you to increase the effect level of your shot 1 for 1.
Cool. So you wanted to have more than great.
Yes. What's the level above great called? Extreme or something like that, whatever it is.
Extreme.
Yeah.
So that's possibly for filling up the cake, actually, if you do this.
Yes. So.
And the consequences here is clearly that it won't explode and you will run into, like, you're charging in here, right? So if it doesn't explode, you're running right into the spears.
Oh yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. What's my Oh, I can't really change my. I can't change my. Oh, what's my if I want what's a devil's bargain for bonus dice?
Yeah, I think actually you're I'm gonna say your horse might trip over them and fall, and you will fall into the ground, and you can't use your horse for the rest of the mission.
I would rather stay mounted, so I'm gonna trust my shoot of 3 to see me through here. Is I think what I will do.
You wanna push for extra die?
That would put me at 4 stress. I've already got 2 stress. You know what? I'm going to do it though. I will push. Yeah, this is and I kind of look over my shoulder at Val, and I like make a little fist myself and nod, and in I go. Horse wheels around. I chuck it. So I am rolling. What do we got here? I'm rolling shoot.
Was that Val assisting, by the way?
Oh, if Val assists, I will not push, because that'll give me 4 dice, which I'm comfortable with. Leave me some stress to actually do other stuff.
Yeah, I'll assist. I'll have Val. She basically is maybe like has the other Ember Wolves and Kingfisher go like fan around a bit, so that it's maybe forcing the Black Oak Knights into a closer group.
Oh, sure, yeah, kind of pushing, kind of getting them into where that's going to go off. Okay, cool. So I've got shoot, position desperate, effect, extreme, bonus dice 1. Boom, there's my 6. Oh yeah.
Okay, describe how this awesomeness looks.
Yeah, it's like, kind of like Val points the war moose off to the, to their left, and she wheels off to the right, and they like, and they kind of, or maybe even they just kind of come in like they're going to charge right up the middle, and that clusters them. And I do that thing where, my not very tough, but like fast and nimble horse comes in, and like I said, wheel around, and like, right hand just kind of tosses those almost lazily, like a softball toss, underarm toss of a grenade up into the air. I mean, and like it is literally like in front of one of their faces, when the cadre just like, one arm, like one hand is on the reins, and the other one he like steadies the pistol with the elbow, and just there's just that, like the plume of smoke from his pistol, but you don't hear the sound because of the earth-shattering kaboom of that grenade going off and just, mangling a bunch of them. There's like a big, like a smoking crater there that we can ride right through to get at that war machine.
Awesome, and you just like ride through like this, and you see like probably even like body parts are just lying around, and there's like things falling down, hits like an arm falls down and hits the Kingfisher in their head or something like that, and but you're at the war machine, and you see like the big towering like jet black construction like ahead of you. What do you do? I think like you're starting to get to yourself now, Dr. Boom, but I think that probably, and I'm gonna set up like another clock here, and that's to destroy the tower. How this is going to work, you can either work to destroying it, or you can hold off forces, and that's what I imagine, like the camera's pans and zooms to you, Kingfisher. There's still there's a Black Oak Knight like swarm, 2 one on each side, like coming towards you. What do you do?
So can I take advantage of the hole, the hole that was just opened up by the explosion?
You can
or
do.
Do I have to deal with the 2?
You can do whatever you want. Just tell me what you do, and I'll tell you what your position effect is.
Right. So he sees this huge explosion. He sees the shot right now. And he's like, show off, as he's trying to like ride his horse. And he like drags his horse around because it's still just wild and angry. And he's trying to get closer to the tower. And he's got like in one hand he's got like a huge just like warhammer, and he's essentially riding close and just seeing if there's any openings or weak spots on this thing to bring it down. While fishing around for his wrecking kit, which is maybe on one of the saddlebags of the horse.
What do you want to do here? You want to like
damage the war machine if at all possible.
It is possible. You just describe how you do it, and then we'll see what effect it does. So that's what I meant with Blades you're having more narrative power than you usually do.
Okay,
so you don't have to ask me if you can do something. You just tell me how you do it, and I'll tell you what the role is.
Yeah, like we haven't established whether it's on wheels or tracks or sledges or whatever. And since you're the first person there, you get to tell us what that is and how you can mess with it.
Okay, so I do like the idea that it's on like some kind of tracks. So the Kingfisher like rides up and he's looking in his alchemical pack, and it says there's like tiny vials of like high power acid and alchemical charges. So he just looks over and he's like, oh, that looks important, and he just like throws this bottle of acid down into like the mechanism of one of the tracks on one of the sides.
What do you think you're rolling here?
So wreck, is that?
Yeah.
Let me have a look.
Yeah, that seems appropriate.
That's wreck. Yep.
So, and I've got 0 strain at the moment. Does using the wrecking kit give me anything as well?
I think the wrecking kit makes it fictionally possible for you to do this. Is probably what it is. It's It's also something where, depending on the result, like if you get a bad result, it can get taken away from you. Stuff like that.
It's a fine wrecking kit, though, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's just the standard utility wrecking kit.
Yeah, then yes, then it makes it possible.
Okay.
But again, yeah, wreck is good. I imagine like this is probably. I'd say from like the initial position is that it's risky because there's people around trying to stab you with their swords. But I think it's limited effect actually, because it will have an effect, but it's just the tracks you're destroying, not the tower, right?
So here's a question. I've got Weapon Master. If I hit it with a sword instead, and it says I get potency in melee combat. Would anything apply there?
I want to do something before you do that. If you let me chime in here.
Yeah.
I want to have a flashback with the Kingfisher in me back at camp, explaining how these vials work and which to apply when and which should only mix together once they're like on the thing and far away from you. And basically what I want to do is teach the Kingfisher how these things work to give to function as a setup action to give him a higher effect in this scene for what he's doing.
Yeah, cool. What you're rolling?
Research, right?
Yep.
That's the closest thing to teach someone something. So, what position would that have back at camp?
Standard.
I mean,
control standard.
Yeah, if he like the effect could still be risky.
Well, actually,
because
that's a good point.
If he does something wrong now, I might like have the.
That's a good point.
Bad end of the stick there.
I think what this is actually that it is risky, and it's risky because we all know what happens when Dr. Boom mixes around with chemicals. So yes, you're getting the best way, and it's going to give you more effect, but also
it's dangerous for everyone involved. Yeah,
volatile. Yeah.
So, would you like me to roll first, and then we discuss the effect? Or?
No, because I'm doing. I'm flashing back here to explain fictionally what happened back at camp, and I'm setting you up to give you an additional level of effect.
Yeah, so this is like a setup action. So it's a specific action where someone else gets to do that you have.
And change the parameters of the world.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so now when if Dr. Boom now succeeds, we see you like with the extra potent chemicals, mixing them in the exact good way and making a better bomb than you would have if not, and have more effect. Cool. You roll that research.
Devil's Bargain. I have an idea. Do you want me to have a...
Sure. Sure. Go ahead.
So my Devil's Bargain, you can choose if you want to offer it to me, is that Sapphire gets cut down.
I think I'm going to give you another Devil's Bargain.
Okay.
Here, the Devil's Bargain is that you got 2 corruption from concocting this solution.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm taking that immediately. Yes. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Risky. Send it 1 bonus die.
Hey.
That was worth it. That last 6. So yeah, you get so you don't have limited effect anymore, you get standard effect.
Right, okay. And now may I push myself to get an extra dice?
Yeah, you can.
Because I feel that's something that might be useful here.
I can also give you the same Devil's Bargain, actually.
And that would give me extra dice or make it great?
Yeah, it gives you an extra effect, possibly. Actually, no, is it? No, it's a die. It's only a die for a Devil's Bargain.
So
what do you guys?
So it's push or Devil's Bargain.
Oh yeah, right. It is.
I'd mark the corruption instead of the stress.
Yeah, you can push the situation and Devil's Bargain.
Yeah, so push for effect.
If you want to push for effect, though, to get great effect here.
So how that would look is that you would probably have to inhale some of these foul gases, but you wouldn't have to, leave at a safe distance and get more stuff in.
I think as someone who's unfamiliar with how long-term corruption and stress is, I do think we kind of need to do it, because I think the longer we stay here, the worse the situation is going to get.
Yeah, that's an accurate statement.
So would it be, in this case, could I push for the effect and take the corruption for the extra die? Is that what you said?
Yes. So you get a great effect and you get an extra die.
So
and mark 2 corruption and 2 stress.
2 stress, 2 corruption, extra die, 1 wreck, 1 in wreck. So click wreck. It's risky, or was it desperate?
It's risky.
Risky. Effect great. Bonus die 1. Submit. Haha.
Okay, so you like pour these. What do you do with like these chemicals? Is it like mixing them and then putting them on the tracks, or what are you doing?
So I like to imagine that that Emilio gave this huge, detailed description of what to do with which region, and he pulls it out. There's like knights, there's undead all around, it's kites, and he just goes like red, green, and he just in the end he just throws them both into the tracks like at once, and by sheer fortune that works.
Yeah, and I imagine like you see like it's not like a explosion or anything. I imagine it being like almost like termite or something, and it's just like you see the metal just eroding instantly, and like for a quite a like a little bit ahead, and you see almost like the earth also starting to get like eaten up, and it's like boiling of like these fumes. And probably like you run off like a little bit away from it and coughing, and as like you look up, you see like the your eyes like completely like bloodshot. And yeah, that's 3 pies right there. What do you do to get the rest of the 3? And also, I'm gonna roll also dice for how it's going with the horn one here, while you're thinking about that.
I think you muted, Joel.
So how many was that? Just one check on the clock.
3. You had a great effect.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you did a very good job from your limited effect in start here. Okay, so the camera smash cuts to like the battle between the horn one and Render, and you see I think you see like probably the horn one as their helmet fall off, like stop for a little bit, like completely shocked by this like unnatural thing that's on their face, showing that they're not completely like stoic to like the horrors of war either. And I think Render like uses this opportunity, and you see like their huge sword and swings it around, and the horn one like jumps off a little bit too late, and you see it like slash into the rib cage of the horn one, like crying out, and you hear like this. I think probably as the explosion ends, like you hear this like harrowing cry of like this bear, like, probably like bearing through the whole battle. What do you do?
Yeah, Joel, you had something for Val that you said before.
Yeah, I thought my mic was busted.
I think you're just a little quiet.
Okay. I will try to project. So I can try and hold the line if Dr. Boom wants to get in there and help wrecking.
And are you thinking that's like a setup action for him?
To buy me more time?
I think so.
Yeah, I probably say that makes the most effect, because in this situation, possibly. Yeah. So how are you doing it, and what are you rolling?
I believe I would like to roll a group skirmish action to basically it's like the two Black Knights at least coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Val is having herself and the other Ember Wolves basically wait until Dr. Boom and the Kingfisher are like behind them, and then turning around and like almost doing like the same like sort of line that they did to just try and like put their bodies in between the people who need to get stuff done.
Yeah, I think actually because yeah, sure, cool. So I think actually that you have it's a standard effect here, because you're at the same scale as them with Ember Wolves, and you have a standard effect. standard effect is unrisky, I think. You want to trade effect for. I don't think maybe you don't need it, but you can. Would you want to trade effect for potency?
Is that you
Make it desperate. You can. Yeah, you can do it for any action.
Actually, you know what? I can set you up with some covering fire to grant you potency on it. If the cadre just like place a few well-aimed shots, that whatever gets their heads down, or goes through the visor of one or two of them enough to let you guys hit them even harder. I'll use my action as to just cover you.
Is this happening simultaneously to the Kingfisher doing his thing? I can't help in this case. I'm doing something else. Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. So you're holding the line with the Ember Wolves and have some extra effect there. So it's a risky and a great effect. What are you rolling? Skirmish, I assume. I'll roll for the rookies. You're rolling?
Considered an assist from the cadre in terms of bonus dice?
No, this is my cover fire ability. If you set someone up, this is actually one of my special abilities. If you set someone up with shoot or provide covering fire, they gain potency on their next action. So you get the potency for free. Or well, you get it from me.
You can push for an extra die still if you want.
Or ask him for a devil's bargain.
Yeah.
Devil's bargain, a rookie gets cut down.
Yeah, sure.
We have.
Stop that.
That's the devil's bargain. The rookie gets cut down. You're taking it? You muted, I think.
She's not muted. It's just her volume's just down. Yeah.
Like if I fail it, I actually have a better chance to resist if it's a desperate action. So I'm trying to think of like.
I mean, you can.
I just make it worse.
You can still do that. Have an extreme setup action. It will be a very easy one for Dr. Boom here to fill those 3 ticks then.
What do y'all think?
Yeah, go for it.
I imagine there is some heavy theme music to this moment.
Yeah.
What does Val like shout to the Ember Wolves, like making them understand that you're taking a stand here against these Blackhawk Knights?
Is this her going, oh, you know what would make it a desperate action? If you go right at their lieutenant.
Yeah.
I think that's basically what it is, because that's like Val's killed one of them before. And she killed them because they had taken it to riding around with like the heads of as a fashion statement.
This is so cool.
I feel like I'm not the only one that totally hates these guys.
Yeah. Val is like, I think basically she wheels her horse around and she's like, this time we get the rest of the fuckers.
Oh yeah, I know exactly how this looks. So it's like this glance between you and Amelia, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to hold here while you explode this thing, and you like turn around and like shout at the Ember Wolves, and I think like as you brace yourself, you look like ahead of you, and the like smoke clears. From the previous termite chemical concoction that the Kingfisher just did, and you see Mishkin, the Dark General, on his like black horse with his lance, and this is like the first time you realize like why that lance is terrifying, because you see like the horse just fully armored and like there's like this like some almost looks like smoke coming out of his nostrils, and like stomping its foot, and like then it starts like charging towards you as you hold the line.
Okay. Then I am gonna push myself, I think.
Yeah. Extreme.
And I get
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's success right there. And then we'll see the rookies. Oh, they don't do so well, but you carry them through. How do you do that? What does that look like as well? Is like completely saving the Ember Wolves as once again.
Oh, I think what's going wrong with them is this is the first time they are fighting with the War Moose, and they're like, most of them are more looking out not to be getting into the way of the War Moose than...
Hey, Matthias?
Yeah?
Let's let Mikhail ask Joelle, so let's let her narrate. I want to hear her version of how this goes.
I mean, I think that's definitely part of it. I think overall, this is like the second group of Ember Wolves since the game started. So probably in general, they're not that intensely trained. And they definitely haven't seen anything like any of this, including the War Moose. So yeah, I think it's mostly just that they're maybe a little panicking. Like Meaty's among them, right? And she's just a ball of anxiety. So she probably freaks out a little bit when she sees like the general of the Black Oak Knights and that terrible lance and everything, and has to be kind of protected a little bit extra.
Yeah, and I think you see Mishkin like charging towards maybe even like the rookies Meaty perhaps in particular, and it's you're just like before for the like you see the black lance completely just like piercing her, and there's like this big like clank as Val just like jumps for once again with her shield like completely like this lodging the lance upwards and halting the momentum of Mishkin. I think probably even he falls off his horse, and then like the horse just like charges right into the siege engine. And definitely the line has been hold. So what does Doctor and I think probably like actually before we like change frame, I think you probably like just see me with like completely like glazed eyes, like just like looking up at you with her like axe or whatever, and just completely like panicked. Probably just having seen her life going like in flash before our eyes.
I think probably a mix of like panic and like just unabashed like hero worship, because like it's an extreme effect, but really only Val succeeded. So the extreme effect, which is like near superhuman success, is like it's just Val.
Yeah, and it should be completely impossible to like dislodge this charge. Cool. So awesome.
Oh man, I missed Val.
Yeah. Saved so many rookies. So, Kingfisher and Emilio, what are you doing?
Oh, like the corroding chemicals, like we cut back to like this completely enthused grinning face of Emilio, who's like looking at what the corroding chemicals are doing, and there's like this big chunk sheet of metal there that like falls into the battlefield mud and collapses from the side of the war machine, right? And Emilio's just looks at the Kingfisher and's like, that's amazing. And I'm going in. And like without like still not having any weapons drawn, just straight out jumps into the darkness in the hole of the war machine. Just presuming I'll be followed or something like that.
So Kingfisher, when he's like, that was amazing, Kingfisher's like, yeah, did the job, didn't it? Sees you announce you're going to jump in, he's like, what? I'm getting too old for this. And he follows.
Yeah.
He sort of leaps off his horse and into the actual guts of the machine.
And Emilio jumps in, not having an eye out for any enemies. I'm like immediately going to rig up charges of the black shot grenades at the sensitive things there. But I don't know. Am I jumping into any danger?
I think. I think yes, in the sense that there's also like this smoke in here. It's a closed space, right?
Yeah.
It just made something fall off the thing, so it's pretty like it's not a nice place to be, and I think that's the danger about it. It's not any people in there or anything.
Yeah, what's that mean? Is that harm?
It's a possible consequence, yes. This is like you're jumping into like a lethal dose of gas, and you can't stay here for very long. I think it's
I'm not paying any mind to it. Like I'm just breathing that stuff.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's desperate.
Oh, okay.
Hurry up, kid! I don't want to be breathing this in.
But you have so much effect for from the setup before. So it was extreme effect, right?
Yeah, what does that even mean? So I've gotten half an hour to set these charges.
No, it just gives you 4 extra levels of effect.
Okay.
And I think like I imagine what that could look like in the fiction is that normally you would have to set some charges and use a little bit of time to like rig it in the perfect way to make it collapse, because this is a big structure, right? And it's solid. It's made to withstand bombardment from the battlements of Callisto. But in here, there's the good side of this fumes being here is that it's hella explosive.
You're gonna implode it. You're gonna drop it down, like inside it. If you blow it up, it'll just collapse down in on itself, which is like kind of awesome.
Yeah, and I guess we're jumping straight to wreck, not brig. Yeah, I think that makes more sense then.
We're figuring out, but we need to figure out how we roll everything, right? So we got to check it before we wreck it, right?
Yeah, this is desperate, but it's
extreme, right? How like it's 4, whatever I start at.
It started at limited, so standard, great, extreme. It's one above extreme. Extremely extreme effect.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Here's a question: is the Kingfisher helping anyway? Did we talk about this too?
Yeah, I'm not sure what I can do here? Could I scout
If
for?
you could. What you can do
vulnerable spots?
is so there's multiple things. You could just wait it out and then try to protect if something goes wrong, right? But you could also.
He's got that great big warhammer. He could be like knocking, struts out as
Exactly,
you're
yeah.
playing the.
Or you can do anything in the fiction, and you just say what you're doing in the fiction that is supposed to help, and it can be whatever you think of, and pay 1 stress to give me an extra die. That's assist then.
Right. Okay. So I think Kingfisher. He's waiting by the exit with his sword, with his giant sword drawn, essentially ready to guide Emilio back should this go on, because there's smoke everywhere. He might have reduced visibility. It's not a good place to get lost in when you've just set all these charges. So I suppose I'm kind of like lifelining it. So I'm not sure what that would be.
Yeah, you take 1 stress and it gives an extra die for
Cool.
boom. Cool.
Cool. Is there a devil's bargain here?
Take another 2 corruption.
Yeah, and I think I know what it is. I think there's this, because we've got some time, like Val, right? I think I'm setting these charges, and I think I see these strange markings on the side. There's like extra moments where I'm like, wait, this looks like formulas, but this is a strange inscription. Until like I hear like some war noise, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta set charges. But I'm like, definitely got these ideas of these inscriptions on the inside of that war machine in my head.
Awesome.
If the setup action counts as helping someone.
Extra effect.
But I have a backup. When I assist someone that pushes only cost 1 stress, but it's like a small A.
You're already doing the setup, so.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Cool.
Which is helping a lot.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll. It's a 5.
Okay. So there's consequences here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so this. Yeah, I think the charges definitely are set, and you're running out, and you feel, and both of you actually, both you and Kingfisher, you feel terrible. It's very like this smoke. You can barely. It's not like kind of physical. It's almost like you're feeling. Like you're
sapped.
Yeah, and you take 4 corruption.
Oh God!
You can resist that.
Yes, please. How does corruption work? Is it when it's filled?
And I think how this feels like is like you're feeling. I think this is like you're hearing voices in your head, and it's the kind of like you're gonna die here, and it's like it's almost like you see these 2 like flaming eyes in your head, like lighting up, and it's almost like the Cinder King is watching you. You're gonna be one in my army one day, King, for sure. And I think this is insight resist. Understanding that this is not really.
Oh, so I can't just grit my teeth and get through it then. Okay. So
I mean, yeah, resist with insight. You do resist it either way. Like it's no way that you don't succeed.
But then you take stress.
Yeah. So you roll. Yeah, it's the highest die. If it's a 6, it's 0 stress, and if it's a 1, it's 5 stress.
Did I roll?
Yeah,
No.
you wrote. No.
When I clicked it, nothing happened.
No.
I'm looking at it wrong. So no bonus dice. Submit. Oh god, wait.
Well, that's a crit.
Oh, I clear 1 stress.
You clear 1 stress.
It's a wasted crit.
Well,
Oh no, I had stress. I had stress.
No, sorry. I mean, like rolling 2 6s doesn't do anything for you that rolling 1 6 doesn't do for you. So,
but this is pretty funny though, because you're having like this kind of, you know, the evil penetrating your mind kind of moment, and you're just like, fuck that shit, I feel good. Like what is actually going on here? What's happening inside of the Kingfisher?
So can we? Okay, so he's there and he sees this, so he feels this presence watching over him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, kid, I've had worse demons than you. At the bottom of a bottle.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
nice. So here's the complete opposite. I'm not resisting. Fuck that. I'm stumbling out of this thing, and I'm like, okay, light the fuse. But then we see it from Emilio's point of view, right? Like, I'm holding everything to light the fuse, but it's taking some time, and it's because I'm like still seeing these sigils and signs that I brushed my fingers over inside the war machine, in my vision, like they're burned in, right? I'm taking blight here, and I'm taking visions before I actually light the fuse.
Can I try to step in and?
I don't think you can resist this for Emilio. Possibly, I don't think you're in a position. You're fighting the knight.
Yeah, I was thinking probably it would be more like yanking him away from the explosion, but no, if it's like...
I mean, you can still do that. It just doesn't have any mechanical effect.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
From the whole thing collapsing, yeah. Because that's what's happening next, right? There's these charges going off inside, and probably it's like a delayed reaction, I imagine, to make it like more impactful.
Yeah, how does it look, Emilio?
Yeah, you hear these muted boom, 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 and then the creaking of metal. It's like, and it's swaying, and then we hear a crash from the inside, and then the whole thing collapses, like half on top of us, half on the enemy, and probably like everybody just running at this point.
Yeah, it's a complete like chaos, and in the chaos you manage to get away pretty easily without any more.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to have a flashback with the cadre.
Yeah, sure.
To him going to visit Val.
Mm-hmm.
And we know what it's, and like I have my like best bottle of wine that I have saved from my estate, I kind of go in there and I just sort of like hold the wine up and I say, Valentina, I've been saving this for a special occasion, and there's no one I would rather share it with than the person who I will be sharing the special occasion with, he says, referring to the mission that we're about to go on.
Could have stopped at wine, but come on in.
And he comes in and he kind of looks at it and says, I have no idea what it is. It was the most expensive bottle in my cellar when they repossessed my estate, so I presume that it will be good. And he says, and he's actually got like he's wearing a sword, which he very rarely does, and he pulls it out and he kind of like shing, and it's, whatever his family, like another thing he brought from the estate, and he says, I am no good with this in a fight, but I did learn how to do this. And he like lays the bottle across his arm. And if you've ever seen that thing where somebody opens a wine bottle with a like a saber,
Yeah, saber.
shing, he does that, and and whatever, and it's sparkling, so like it fizzes up and stuff, and he kind of inspects the edge to make sure there's no shards of glass, pours each of you both pours a glass for him, pours a glass for you, and holds it up for a toast.
Yeah, I don't know if she's ever even like seen sparkling wine.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And he says, and like I look at you like you're staring at it or whatever, and I look confused. Is there something wrong? I give it a sniff. It actually smells delightful.
Is there?
No, it's.
Okay.
Oh.
Like puts her finger like in it and sees all the bubbles like stick to it.
Yeah. Oh, you've never had sparkling wine before.
Cadre, before the Legion, I was a Zemyati raider. Not the sparkling wine type.
Very well. Then, when we return, if you share this with me, I will partake of mead with moss in it, or whatever it is that would be the appropriate Zemyati beverage to share.
Sure.
And like tink the glasses, throw it back, and say, there's a very real possibility tomorrow that Render will actually be there on the battlefield. We must complete our mission, but when it's done, and the time comes, if I'm at all able, I want to strike a blow against him. He's cost us more than I care to think about. And there are a number of my companions who are with me constantly, who I feel like that might quiet them, at least for a while. So when the time comes, and I give you a signal, if I could just borrow your strong back for a moment to help steady my hand, and your strong arms to carry me back to camp, because this will certainly incapacitate me, I would be most grateful.
You're talking about the Crimson Shot, I assume?
Yes, I am talking about the Crimson Shot. Yes, I was trying to be. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. I would like to, when I fire it, I don't know if it can kill him, but I'd like to find out. And if nothing else, I hope it hurts him. I hope it burns. I hope that it gives him something else to think about at night, the way we all think about him.
Yeah, I think all Zemyati keep like a special knife on them that they use to make blood oaths. Yeah. And she rolls up her sleeve, and you can see probably like a bunch of other like marks on her arms. I think there's like, now that the attention's been like kind of drawn to it, I think like the way that Zemyati mourn probably is like when you like have the burial for the person, you like reopen that wound and then when it heals, that's like when your grieving time is over. And like, so she has like a couple that are like open from like the funerals we've had and things like that. So she's like all covered in scabs and stuff like that, and she just got messed up in the previous mission, and like rolls it up and like makes a bicep, and then like cuts herself across the bicep and is like, "You better not miss."
And the cadre kind of like raises an eyebrow and like, you know, shucks his top coat off and, you know, undoes the cufflink and carefully rolls his own sleeve up and takes the knife from you and, you know, makes a like, you know, wiry, you know, little bicep and like, you know, just like with a snick, just draws the knife across the same place and then reaches into the pocket of the coat and pulls out a this gorgeous, ornately carved like, you know, like sandalwood box and flips the top open. And there is that shell that we, you know, there's that like wicked, weird looking, it hurts to look at it. It's glowing slightly red. But what we know is that to activate it, you need blood. And I nod and I just kind of pluck the shell out and hold it in 2 fingers and like do the tip against my arm and reach out and like wick it against the wound on yours.
Yeah.
And I say, I hope he knows that this is from both of us.
Yeah.
And I put it away and I snap it closed.
Sick. Awesome. So I guess we're not writing out a battle then.
Well, we're gonna take a shot.
Seems like a perfect cliffhanger for a little break.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, cool. Does that cost me any stress for that flashback?
I don't think so, no. It's just
Okay.
planning. Cool.
Okay.
We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Awesome.
Cool. Can I ask how much of the game is left?
And we're back, and I am on page 210 of the book where it says, "You want to kill a broken." Jim, you want to kill a broken?
I read that page too.
Yeah. Funny thing, the game doesn't really say that much about it, except it's really hard. So I have an idea for how to handle it. So normally, Render, he is a threat 5 and you're a threat 1, which means that when you're fighting Render, you have 3 less effect than no effect. But they are currently fighting the Horned One, which, based on luck, might give you an opening.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, and you feel free. This is something I just came up with. So if that doesn't make sense to you, feel free to argue. It's a good game for that because Blades, you can. There's a lot of room for negotiating these kind of things. So I'll just roll their fortune rolls against each other. So 5 against 5, and if the Horned One has 1 or more for every effect level, the Horned One has more than Render, I will reduce their threat by 1. So the maximum amount that can happen here, or I guess they could crit and Render could fail. That would give you a 3, and then you would have a chance to actually do something based on that. But it's a pretty long shot to try to kill a broken.
Sure is.
Literally in this case.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's roll. Render first here. 5 dice. And then the Horned One.
Could have been worse. Come on.
Yeah. So the Horned One is definitely having an advantage at the moment. So the threat level of Render is reduced by 1. And so this is actually a good opportunity to also explain how this effect stuff really works, because I've been doing a lot of this on the backside. So you are a Legionnaire, so you have by default you're threat level 1. You have a fine rifle, right?
Yep.
In this instance, that gives you a threat level 2.
Uh-huh.
So the difference between you is 2, and you start at standard. That gives you limited and then 0 effect. So you start at 0 effect still, but that's where you are, and you can go from there, push and get possible setup stuff or stuff like that to try to and change effect for risk. So you actually have a chance of doing some impact here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Should I go ahead and narrate, or what do we, or like start setting it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is where this is the thing where it's like chaos, pandemonium, shit is blown up, undead or don't know what to do. The Legion is wheeling back around to try and get out of there. The rest of the Legion is running for that side door, and the cadre just takes his hat and kind of waves it in the air. And, rides up alongside Val, and the two of them are sliding down off of their horses, and kind of through the swirling smoke, we can see that the Horned One slamming into Render, and them, wrestling, bouncing off of each other and stuff like that. And Val just drops down on one knee. If you guys have seen Fury Road.
Yes, it's my favorite movie of the last decade. So,
and the cadre just lays his rifle down on her shoulder, and it's like I may as well be putting it down on the limb of a tree, right? Because it's going to be that steady. And I jack the chamber open, and I pull that case out, and like with a snap of my hand, I snap it open, and I just drop it into it. It just falls right into the breach, and I slam it in. And so I'm now threat 4 with that crimson shot.
Yeah, so that means you're at standard effect. And this is a 4 o'clock. And I think because I put it at 4 o'clock, some people might say this is a little low, but render is potent in a melee combat. And this is probably, if there was a way, this is the way. But you're still 2 effects away from being able to do it. Okay. And I think this is probably, I think this is probably already, I'm going to say risky, actually. Because there's some room here for, I mean, it's not, it's a major distraction going on with the explosion and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I'm good on that. I feel like the devil's bargain here, like, totally makes sense that I am almost certainly disobeying a direct order with this. Like, I feel like the commander would have known, like, what was in my head, and is like, do not risk yourself. Do not do this. Don't risk accidentally shooting the horned one just to take a shot at this guy.
Yeah, and I think for not something that's not a success, you're definitely going to harm the horned one too.
Yep. I think that's totally
that's the bargain.
Yeah. Okay. Sold. So I'll take that to add an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll definitely push for effect.
You wanna trade position for effect? Have it be desperate?
Well, I've got the stress to spend, so I'm going to go ahead and spend it.
Yeah.
Well, you could trade effect for position that doesn't cost you stress. Too, right?
Yeah.
If you want to make this a desperate action, like taking your time aiming, so like enemies get like notice you two being there defenseless.
No, I think that I think that I'm fine. Do I Val, you want to spend a stress to assist here?
Yeah, and when I assist, your push only costs 1 stress.
Ooh, how about that? Let's do that. I like the sound of that.
Okay, so just to make sure that I have this correctly then. You started at the same level. You pushed for an extra effect, right?
Uh-huh.
That gives you a great effect, which will fill 3 ticks.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't be able to kill a render with this. You would need an extra.
Yeah, what I would need is to have a point of aim left,
mm-hmm.
which I do.
Okay, yeah. Sniper power right there.
Yeah, which I will spend for this to get the additional level of effect. So
if I use an anchor to increase our scale, would that help at all?
Yes, but does that work also for somebody else's action? What does it read? Because if it was you doing it or group action, I'm sure yes it would, but I'm not completely sure if it also works. It could. I'm just. I am not sure. I'm normally not one for rules.
Her blood is in the bullet.
It's true. Let's see, anchor.
That like. Uses for like facing off against some larger groups. It's on like page 79.
I don't think so. It helps you to fight as a small group, but it's not you who's fighting. You're just assisting.
I was just thinking, since he's like, if I was literally like anchoring myself.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna.
Okay.
But you have enough with your aim.
And I think anchor is for when you take is when you're rolling the act. Pardon me, you're rolling the action. So
yeah, but you're still good with your aim. You have the extreme effect that you need.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I'm rolling shoot.
Yeah, this is your one shot.
And I feel that way inside, Matthias. And I take a trauma for firing this bullet. So like I'm gonna fire and then literally just like collapse over Val's back, I think is what's gonna happen. Or she knows that that's gonna happen and turns around to catch me as I fall. I kind of like that. I like that one better.
She already like has her arm over you.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that helps steady me too. So yeah, and this is that like I think totally the like, you know, complete silence, like, you know, everything is like digitally stopped. You know, my breath goes all the way out and then squeeze and we just follow the bullet downrange. Let's see what happens. All right.
Just before you shoot, Kingfisher's just like, what is that posh bastard? And just cut.
That is exactly that is exactly perfect for the Kingfisher. Yeah, the Kingfisher may have also been like, don't like. What is he? All right. Okay. So, cool. So, position is risky. Effect is extreme.
My God.
I have 2 bonus dice because one from the helping die and one from pushing.
You pushed for effect, no?
No, I didn't need to push for effect.
Okay. Devil's bargain. That was the bonus die.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So the 6 counts. Yes, it's the last die, but it's there.
Okay, so I want you to describe how the cadre, like what the cadre is doing, and I'm just going to describe the outcome.
Yeah, and like he leans in and he's squeezing on the trigger, and like all of those voices that have been haunting him, like the gun goes tink onto Val's shoulder, and they all like audibly hold their breath. Like he can hear them hold their breath. Yeah. And he says, and he whispers, the Legion sends its regards.
Yeah, and you just
pulls
like
the trigger, and like as soon as the hammer hits the shell, like everything goes red, like just this like torrent of pain just like radiates out from his hands where he's holding the gun, and he like blacks out almost instantaneously. But but he can already feel like that Val has him, and like that's his last sensation is her arm like wrapped around him as he just like the world just falls away. So he doesn't actually see whether it hits or not, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, and I think you like hear the like the boom of like the bullet, even like through the like explosions going on behind you, and I think there's definitely like this kind of where the camera kind of you see like the bullet come out like in slow motion, and you see like this happening to the cadre, and then like the camera rotating around and like following it, and I think you see the horn one just like bleeding from the chest, like the bear like coming up and like kind of smacking the render down, and exactly as they like go for the next blow, you see like the bullet coming like past the shoulder of the horn and just like directly into Render's face, and I think you just hear like this like incredibly like ear-deafening roar through like the battlefield as they as Render like gets hit and feels the pain for like a second, and then just like I think the whole like head just like explodes with blood and gore, and you see like the horned one with like the blood of Render on their face, like almost black, kind of like almost boiling a little bit from almost acidic, running away through like the battlefield towards the fort, as more troops from Blighter is coming, but definitely like you see the body of Render like disintegrating, and I think the camera like pans back and you see like the body also already starting disintegrating, and the armor is just like it goes like in like fast motion, and you see like in just a few seconds just the armor laying there, and I think that's episode.
Fuck yeah!
Damn.
Yeah, that happened.
Wow. Yes.
There were some good rolls that game. Like, a lot of that could have gone in completely the other direction.
Yep.
Yeah, we got them when we needed them, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's do XP.
Yeah. Let's do XP.
Also just wow.
Yep.
Thank you. Page 210.
All right. Who wants to start?
Did we survive the mission? I assume we did.
Yeah.
Right.
We go through it together. So if you like, we can start with you, or you want one. Well, let's one of us go first, so you can see what it's like, and I'll just head up front here because I've got mine open. So every time you roll a desperate action, mark XP in that action's attribute. I didn't even roll any desperate actions, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Was the tower explosion not desperate?
Oh yeah, the wreck was, yes. So 1 in prowess, and you can actually see it on stream, or if you open Emilia's thing. If you survived the mission, that's 1 XP. If you helped your squad through medical knowledge or emotional comfort. I'm not sure I did.
I don't know if it's like the alchemical knowledge would count because he's not a medic.
It's not medical knowledge, and I don't think it's emotional comfort.
Yeah. I just mean like you don't have any, like you would never have the opportunity to do that because you took the alchemy track instead of the medic track.
Yeah. I guess it is what it is, right? If you brought into play your heritage or trauma, my heritage is disgraced medical student / drug dealer. So I think this is where the alchemical knowledge comes into play. I gained the trauma and I immediately brought it into play. Going like reckless, you could have said like, yeah, well, there's a undead inside and stabs you for level 3 armor or whatever, right? Also, I breathed in those fumes. I didn't resist I think I was reckless. So that's 3. Plus, what's our threat? Per highest threat of opponent faced.
5, motherfucker.
So
yeah.
8 points I can divvy up. And I'll need a moment to look at what I want to give him with that. So I'm just gonna write it down for now. Yeah. So like that. Do you want to try it with the Kingfisher?
Sure. Okay. So, I survived. So that's one. Help your squad through might and fortitude. I don't think so. I don't think I did anything like holding the line or doing anything like that.
You were part of the charge, though. That's what I would argue.
Yes. Yeah, I suppose I was. Would that be might?
Yeah, no, that's not help. Yeah, go on.
So, 2.
The charge was prowess because we used maneuver.
Right. Okay. So.
Yeah, but those XP you can put them where you like.
So does XP you put them into the attributes, and then when you get a full one, you can.
You get a point in any of the in the category, or if you fill the one, so you can put them either in inside prowess resolve or in your special ability. Yeah.
Okay, so.
But when you roll a desperate action, it has to be in the one that you rolled it with.
Exactly.
Yes. Right. I didn't roll any desperate ones. So I suppose that's 2. Brought into play heritage or trauma. No. Well, no. Zenyatta. No, I didn't do anything with heritage or oaths.
Can I suggest something? Because I distinctly remember you saying, "Fuck you" to render by resisting, and that sounds like a stubborn, bull-headed veteran, right?
I would say so. Very much in the Kingfisher brand, even though you never seen what the Kingfisher is like before. That was definitely a Kingfisher moment right there.
Oh,
okay.
Point of note here, it's up to you. Like, Mikkel's not saying anything because it's completely in the player's authority if you say, yeah, no, I earned that XP or not.
I want the XP, but I don't want to feel like I'm like gaming the system.
I think you're doing it.
Legit.
I love that scene. Yeah.
Okay, so 3 per highest threat of opponent faced. What was
5?
Render 5, 6, 7. So I get 8 as well. If I'm right about this. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I think that's me. 8.
And yeah, you can put them into any of those clocks. Yeah, for example, fill your special abilities and pick one.
I think that would be useful.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can think about it or do it between sessions. You earn the that special ability level up basically, so it's free for you to spend it on what you think is fitting for the Kingfisher.
Oh, that's really. Some of these are really useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Gain mastery of 2 abilities. Okay,
all that does is unlock them.
Yeah.
You don't actually fill it in. Like, it unlocks the ability to go to 4, right?
They can go up to rank 4, not they go up to rank 4. Okay.
No,
well, I think that's
they normally cap at 3, right? Is that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. Yeah.
I might just go for Against the Darkness. I think that's very useful.
That sounds perfect. Yeah.
So I'm going to go for that.
Awesome.
Oh, that's very on brand with what happened today as well.
Yeah.
You and all your squad mates that can see you gain 1 die to resist fear and corruption.
And then I can thematically use my flare gun as well.
Very cool. Approved.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. And then reset your clock so you know that we're next time. Like
Cool.
it isn't filled anymore.
Done.
Awesome. Who's next? Who wants to do XP next? Oh, Joel.
I had started.
Oh, okay. No sound
But I
came
was-
through
Yeah.
for me.
I'll try and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I can go if people can hear me.
Yep. We can hear you.
So I rolled one desperate action, which was in skirmish, and that filled up my clock in prowess. I feel like maybe I should be like balanced and get 2 points in rec, or like learn how to shoot from cadre or something, but I also kind of want to get 3 dice in skirmish. So I think I'm gonna do that just while I'm here. And make the clock.
Hit the little axe right beneath it. That clears it. Yeah.
And then I survived the mission, so that's 1. Helped my squad through might or fortitude. I think I did that, like, just the whole time, basically. Brought into play my heritage or trauma. My Zemyati heritage traits are bold and loyal, so I think I use both of those.
Does using the blood knife count as well? Yeah, that little scene.
Yeah, like thematic stuff like that would have counted too.
Okay.
And then her highest threat of opponent face was 5. So I also have 8. I'm gonna use 3 right now, I think, to get hardened to take additional stress, because I use a lot of stress with like leading group actions and stuff like that, and assisting and everything. So I'm gonna use 3 for that right now, and then I think I'll think about the other 5 between sessions.
Also, hell yeah, Val is hardened.
She's tough.
The sheets are so good. You click that and your stress bar just gets bigger.
Oh, cool. Nice. All right, and then I think that's it for me.
All right, so the cadre. Did I survive? I did. So that's 1. If you helped your squad through keen observation or key shots, I feel like this is like I'm not going to make a shot any more key than that one. So,
The
all
keys
right.
of shots.
Yeah. If you brought into play your heritage, which is like, I'm a Orite noble, and I like I introduced Val to champagne, which I feel like is totally like like an Orite noble thing. And I was all like talking around it, and she was like, "You're talking about this thing, right?" Well, yes, but I was, I was trying to kind of, ease us into it. So, and your trauma, which is my ghosts, my haunted that I carry around with me, who, wanted vengeance for what Render's, troops did to them. So I feel like I brought both of those in. So that's going to be 4. Yeah, survived. Key shots, 2 more for that. 5 for Render. So I got 9.
Yeah, well deserved 9 XP. Gotta say.
So I'm going to fill in 4 on prowess. to bump my maneuver up by 1 more. And then I'm going to fill my insight almost to 6, 5 out of 6, because once that pops, I'll be able to add another point of aim, which is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, heck yeah, this was already your second trauma.
Yep.
The cadre is, oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is leaving its marks, right? It's,
yeah.
rough.
Yeah, I'll have to look over the traumas and see which one makes the most sense, but I think I know.
Cool. So that's the XP. If you want, Tom, you can have a back at camp scene if you feel ready for that, as we finish up. If not, we can have it be the first thing we do when we get back next time.
Yeah, let's do it then, because it's knocking on a bit where I am.
Sure. Then that's it for this week. The breaking the siege of Fort Callisto proved to be even more epic than I ever imagined, I have to say. Thanks to the cadre taking a bullet for team in a different way than what that phrase is normally used.
I gave a bullet for the team.
Yeah. But that was pretty awesome. This session was super good, and I think it was fun to also see you seamlessly get into this session, Tom. Very nice to see you play as the Kingfisher. And also, I just love playing this game. I'm also looking forward to like finishing a campaign, because that's not something I often do. But I also will be a little bit sad, maybe, building towards it. So I am Mikael. You can find my Twitter up here, where I tweet about the games I'm playing on stream, which is this game for now. Maybe something else is coming after this is finished. I think probably this. I'll have to decide which of all the games that I want to play that I'm going to put on, but it might be something that has more room for smooches and stuff after last great episode. That's me. Thanks for today. I enjoyed it. You want to do some plugs and stuff, Matthias?
Yeah, sure. You can find me at mthsblgr on Twitter. And you can find a little supplement that I wrote called Sense of an Ending on itch.io, which is meant to help you close out limited series or one-shots, particularly for Powered by the Apocalypse games or Fortune Dark games like this one. Like, if you don't get to play the whole thing, maybe that can help you like dip your toes into like a short run of Band of Blades, for example, and still find a satisfying solution or ending to your conclusion to your story. I'm gonna throw it over to Joel.
Interesting sound issues today.
And my interesting sound issues.
Yes.
At Dino on Twitter. That's usually silent. So maybe I'll have a better time over there. I also have a low-level adventure for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition on DM's Guild called A Place to Call Home. Maybe I'll stream a one-shot of Masks soon, but that's in very early planning stages, and we all know how that can go. So we shall see. But I know definitely what supplement I'll be getting for it. That's about it for me. Jim, you want to go?
Hey, yeah, I am Jim Crocker. I sell games, including I've like over the course of the last year, a whole lot of copies of Band of Blade. So I'm really happy to be playing it. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Likes Games. My website is jimlikesgames.com. And I also wrote something called The Flocculent Cathedral, which is an incursion that is in the Trophy Dark role-playing game that is currently on Kickstarter. So that's my, like, I've not done much design work, but I'm really happy that that is going to be appearing as part of that. So you can find me there. Tom.
Yeah, I don't have much to add really. I'm glad to be here. I think again, I agree. It's a very interesting session, and I think a good one to get thrown into. A lot of stuff happened in the last half an hour. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, that's all for this week, folks. I hope to see you back probably next week. If not, you'll hear about it on my Twitter. And yeah, I had a great time. I'm glad someone is watching and also getting to share this with us. So that's a lot of fun. See you next week, folks.